Live from WIAT CBS 42 News, here's what's happening right now.
Well, it's been a busy night at the Birmingham Shuttlesworth International Airport. Thanks for joining us. I'm Alex Finney in for Lee Garner. We're covering breaking news right now from the airport. This right here on your screens is a live look from the tarmac where emergency crews are still on the scene after a suspicious package was reported just after 6 o'clock. Now, they're still trying to determine exactly what was inside a piece of luggage that was found. Police did tell us that the bag was smoking. Now, airport representatives say it was found on a ramp near Concourse C. Bomb crews sent in a robot to move the bag away from the ramp. Some United Airlines flights had to be moved to other gates. Other services were not affected. Passenger flights for the day will be ending within an hour, so there's not much air traffic going on right now. Well, we're learning more about the 2 adults and 2 children killed in a house fire in Adamsville. The fire broke out Saturday morning at this house on Veterans Memorial Drive. 8 family members were inside that home at the time. 4-year-old Robert Armstrong, 6-year-old Corin Walter, 20-year-old Kenneth Hines, and 71-year-old Pearlie Jones were all killed in that fire. We're told that the 3 younger victims actually made it out safely, but then went back inside the home to try to save other family members. A 1-year-old child was taken to Children's of Alabama. Well, tonight, the surrounding community is coming together to collect donations for the surviving family members. WIAT 42 News reporter Tim Reed joins us in the studio right now with an update on what folks are doing to help. Tim.
Well, good evening, Alex. The loss of life is a sad tragedy, but many are doing what they can to help this family who lost everything.
It's just been a huge sadness. It's so sad.
Christy Roman is heartbroken, but she's doing her part to help the family who lost 4 of their relatives in a fatal house fire Saturday morning. The Adamsville resident is donating some of her dishes and kitchen items and some clothing.
I went to my storage unit today and I took out all my dishes and kitchen utilities. I don't know how old the survivors are, so I have children's clothes, but I want to donate anything I can to help them out.
The city has set up donation drop-off locations at the fire department and city hall, and residents have been donating clothing items like pants and shirts and money. Mayor Pam Palmer says the funds will help pay for funeral expenses.
I don't know if you guys have paid for a funeral lately, but $8,000 to $10,000 I think is the average funeral. How are they going to afford that? They can't. So we need to pull together and help with that.
Palmer says 8 people were living in the house and were related. The mayor says the 20-year-old victim who died was autistic but woke everyone up. He died trying to save his aunt.
I wish there were words to say, but there's no words to say. But know that people are thinking about you and thinking about their families, and prayer and support.
So far, the city has collected $1,600 in cash. Officials say the cause of the fire is still unknown. In the studio, Tim Reed, WIAT 42 News, coverage you can count on.
Thanks, Tim. Fire marshals are investigating a blaze that killed a woman in Talladega County. 58-year-old Mary Ann McDaniel was found dead inside a burning camper in the Oak Grove community. The fire broke out around 4:15 on Skyview Road. Investigators say she was the only person inside the camper. The cause of the fire is still under investigation. Well, students at one Jefferson County school won't be heading to class tomorrow morning. That's right, classes at Bragg Middle School in Gardendale will be canceled tomorrow. An electrical fire broke out in one of the buildings on Friday. Crews will be back at the school tomorrow to further assess the damage. Well, students at Bragg aren't the only ones who will miss class tomorrow. A water main break is forcing Maddox Middle School in Jasper to close Monday as well. Faculty members will be alerted actually by 10 a.m. if they need to report to school.
We tracked some very cold temperatures early this morning, but this afternoon with a lot of sunshine, we warmed up very quickly. About a 30-degree swing from our morning lows to our afternoon highs. You see 50 this afternoon in Birmingham with a lot of sunshine. Anniston at 50, Jasper at 51, Calera as well, 53 in Alexander City. They were the mild spot across central Alabama. Right now, temperatures have dropped. We're now in the 30s, 37 degrees. We've got some clouds entering the picture. They'll float in from the west and kind of hang out for this evening. We'll see a mostly clear sky by this by tomorrow morning, I should say. But temperatures not going to be anywhere close to as cold as they were this morning, with numbers close to freezing as we start off our Monday instead of the 20s and even teens that we saw early this morning. That's going to start a warm-up that we're going to feel next week. We've got some rain chances, too, to talk about, all coming up in the Storm Track 7-day forecast. Alex, over to you.
Thanks so much, Nate. Well, it will be a while before things actually start to come back to normal in the Northeast. This right here, this is a live look. You're looking at Times Square, and as you can see, many people and vehicles are finally venturing out. Now, the dig out ahead will be monumental, of course. The blizzard shut down cities up and down the coast and broke records. CBS correspondent Craig Boswell has an update from Washington, D.C.
The sun melted some of the 2 feet of snow that fell in Washington, D.C., but as the moon rises, temperatures are plummeting, creating dangerous conditions. A convoy of trucks from Boston and other cities arrived Sunday to help get the nation's capital moving again.
We're bringing about 450 pieces of equipment from outside of D.C.
Cleanup crews are making main streets a priority in the district. Officials asked residents to help with snow removal.
Senior citizens can't get out here and walk in the snow like this.
The federal government will remain closed Monday, and airports in the area are only cleared for limited flight operations. The storm canceled more than 11,000 flights. Further up the coast, a full moon tide made a soggy mess in Wildwood, New Jersey.
We had beautiful snow for all of a few hours before it just became a river of icebergs.
In New York City, officials say the epic nor'easter missed setting a new record for total snowfall by 1/10 of an inch.
We need people off the streets for their own safety. We need people off the streets for the safety of others.
Mayor de Blasio asked drivers to keep their cars parked. He canceled alternate side street parking for the entire work week. That's how long it could take for things to get back to normal in many places. Craig Boswell, CBS News, Washington.
This weekend's snowstorm is affecting work on Capitol Hill as well. Majority Leader Kevin McCarthy announced the House has postponed votes planned for the week. One of those votes proposed an override of President Obama's health care veto. Senators are set to return to work on Tuesday, but there's been no announcement about a change in their schedule. Well, tuberculosis testing is expected to wrap up in Perry County this week after a suspected outbreak leads to dozens of people testing positive for the disease. Public health officials began testing residents earlier this month after 3 TB-related deaths were reported. To encourage people to get tested, health officials began offering cash to people, of course, to get tested and treated if needed. So far, more than 1,000 people have tested for the disease. The state health department says screening, testing, and follow-ups will continue Monday, Wednesday, and Friday through January 29th. Well, an update tonight on the ongoing effort to prevent trains from blocking roads in Alabaster. Alabaster City Manager George Henry tells WIAT that CSX is working with the city to avoid blocking their busiest road, Highway 119. Henry says a railroad representative recently drew up guidelines to help keep traffic flowing. Other intersections are still blocked by trains periodically, but Henry says it's a step in the right direction.
Cities have no jurisdiction. They are unable to cite or otherwise change their policies or procedures or anything. They fall under some type of federal guidelines and oversight. But I will say that CSX has been very responsive with us, and I appreciate that.
Henry says the city also has an informal agreement with the railroad company Norfolk Southern to avoid blocking Highway 17 during rush hour when school bus traffic peaks. Well, tomorrow, Vestavia city officials will meet to discuss a construction proposal that's causing controversy in the area. That's right, this plan is mixed for development in Cahaba Heights. The project includes both retail and residential space. Some neighbors have taken issue with the proposal because it's being built right next to Cahaba Heights Elementary School. Well, parents tell us the area is crowded enough already. Some of them have taken their disapproval to the streets over the past few months. The hearing to discuss the proposal is scheduled for tomorrow night at 5 at Vestavia City Hall. WIAT CBS 42 is part of the Media General family, which is one of the country's largest local media companies. Tonight, we are sad to report the passing of Media General Chairman and of the board, John Stewart Bryan III. at the age of 77. Mr. Bryan's career includes more than 50 years in media, including serving as publisher for newspapers like the Richmond Times-Dispatch and the Tampa Tribune. He joined the Media General Board of Directors in 1974 and was named chairman in 1990. Mr. Bryan leaves behind a wife and several family members. We'll be right back.
Yeah, I can hear you.
You're watching WIAT CBS 42 News.
The Department of Transportation says more Americans are driving now than ever before. Some 214 million people are on the roads, and that includes a growing number of senior drivers. A lot has changed since Lorraine Neal first started driving 46 years ago.
I buckled my seatbelt. When I started at 21, we didn't have seatbelts.
The 67-year-old admits she's changed too.
I'm slower than I used to be. Yeah.
To sharpen her skills, Neal recently went to an AARP Smart Driver course where students got a refresher on the rules of the road.
Is that legal? No.
AARP says the courses are in high demand.
We're seeing our class sizes increase and in some cases double across the country.
The reason why, there are now an estimated 38 million seniors on U.S. roadways, a number that is expected to jump to 55 million in 2020. The Department of Transportation is already anticipating the influx of older drivers. There are plans to start installing signs with larger letters that are easier to read and warnings of an upcoming intersection or stop sign, giving seniors more time to react.
The first priority, regardless of age, is safety on the road.
And that can mean knowing when it's time to hang up the keys. The AARP offers an online seminar for people who believe a senior family member is no longer able to drive. Lorraine has years of driving ahead of her, but tries to avoid heavy traffic.
Sometimes I really shouldn't drive, and in those cases, I don't.
That's just one way this senior driver stays safe.
The AARP offers online safe driver courses throughout the year. There are also classroom courses offered here in the Birmingham area. You can check out that list by going to WIAT.com, click on links, and that's under the news section. Well, things are finally clearing up at the Birmingham Shuttlesworth International Airport tonight. This is an update to the breaking news we first brought you at the top of our newscast. Here's another live look for you from the tarmac. Emergency crews have cleared the scene hours after a suspicious package was found on the tarmac near Concourse C. Police tell us the bag was smoking when it was found. The investigation did not affect airport operations. Remaining United Airlines flights were moved to other gates. Right now, there's no word on exactly what was in that bag at the time it was found.